Any ads heard during this episode that are not in our voice are placed by third-party agencies. They should not be considered the opinion of or to be endorsed by Hoosier Myths and Legends.
Welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast.
I'm Rebecca Wilhelm.
I'm Mary Quigley.
And I'm Hope Wilhelm.
Join us as we dive into the spookier side of the Hoosier state.
So what comes to your mind when you think of Indiana? Do you think of corn? Do you think of basketball? Do you think of the Indianapolis 500? Maybe you think of famous celebrities who were born in Indiana, like John Mellencamp or Michael Jackson.
But as the saying goes, there is more than corn in Indiana. 92 counties make up the Hoosier state. In this podcast, we are going to discuss some Indiana folklore from each of these counties. If you are into tall tales, ghosts, or spooky legends, then this is a podcast you are not going to want to miss. This is the 4th episode in our countdown to Halloween.
Each day this week, we've brought you a creepy story from the Hoosier state.
Tonight, we're traveling back to a time when witch stories whispered through small towns and farmsteads all across Indiana.
And these legends were not just tied to one place, and that's the creepy part. They could have happened anywhere, maybe even close to your home. So lock your doors, grab a cup of coffee, and get comfortable as we share some of the witchiest Hoosier folk legends ever told.
These old witch stories were passed down around kitchen tables and over fence posts from one generation to the next.
And they weren't just stories, they were warnings.
Exactly. And what better way to start than with a tale that will make you look twice the next time a cat crosses your path?
This first story is called The Witch Cat. It's a classic Hoosier legend that blurs the line between a witch and something far more sinister.
Before we dive in, we want to give credit where it's due. All of these stories we are reading tonight came from Ronald L. Baker's Hoosier Folk Legends.
Yes, this book is actually one of our favorites, and it was actually my textbook when I took a folklore class at Indiana State University way back in the 90s. It's a wonderful collection of folklore from around the state. And tonight we'll be reading excerpts and sharing a few of our favorite witch tales.
Let's get into it.
So we're going to start off with a legend out of Posey County. It was collected in 1968, and this one's called The Witch Cat.
A man in southern Indiana, so we've been told for generation upon generation, owned a grist mill, and though he had sufficient help during the day, he could get no one to stay at the mill at night for more than a few nights in succession. The reason? Each night, an enormous cat with fiery eyes would yowl and scream as it came closer and closer to the watcher. Though it had never actually attacked anyone, who could say that it wouldn't? For no one had ever dared to stay in its path to see.
The story spread over the countryside and reached the ears of a man who said, in no uncertain phrases, "I'll stay at that mill," or words to that effect. He went to the mill owner, and they agreed upon wages, including board and room at the mill owner's home, the owner being doubtful but hopeful.
They ate their evening meal, it being cooked and served by the owner's wife. The watchman prepared himself with a butcher knife and went to the mill to wait. The screaming began, sounded nearer. He could now see those eyes, the approaching form, and the screams became more terrifying. He waited. Now, as the cat sprang toward him, he slashed with the knife cut off the front paw. The cat was gone.
The next morning, he went into breakfast. "Where is the missus?" he asked, noticing the absence of the owner's wife. "She got her hand cut off last night," was the reply. "Yes, sir, she was a witch."
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely keeping an eye out on any cats lurking around tonight.
And that's just the beginning. So up next is a story that turns something as ordinary as butter into the stuff of nightmares, the Butter Witch. And this one was collected in Knox County, but the notes do not indicate a year for this legend, but it's known to be a very old one.
Just east of the little town of Gyro, Indiana, was once a German settlement that strongly believed in witchcraft. When anything went wrong in the daily routine of the housewife, she was certain that a neighbor was angry and getting revenge by bewitching the particular task.
Now, Mrs. Brown had been laboring over her large wooden churn for hours, and yet no butter. Turning to her husband, dozing by the fireside, she quickly exclaimed, "Someone has a foot in my cream, so I'll find out who the witch is this time." So Mrs. Brown hurriedly heated an iron and dropped it into the contents of the churn, thus burning out the foot that was in her cream. It was only a matter of seconds that she had a generous supply of nice yellow butter.
The next day, Mrs. Brown was making some calls in the neighborhood and stopped for a chat with Mrs. Jones. There sat Mrs. Jones in great pain with a badly burned foot.
So Mrs. Brown turned homeward, happy and satisfied, for she had found the witch that had her foot in the butter.
Who knew butter could be so cursed?
The witches didn't stop at dairy. Some even found a way to hex the cows themselves.
Our next story shows just how far they'd go. We'll be back after a short break. Are you an Indiana small business owner looking to reach a wider audience?
Consider partnering with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast directly to advertise your business.
Our listeners are passionate, engaged, and love supporting local businesses just like yours. By advertising with us, you'll connect directly with a community that values what Indiana has to offer.
Promote your business with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast and watch your customer base grow. Ready to make your mark? Contact us today at HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com and let's bring your business to the forefront. We're back with a legend that was collected in 1969 in Greensburg, Indiana.
This one is called Witch Causes Cow to Give Bloody Milk.
There was this old woman who lived not far from us who wanted to buy this cow from one of her neighbors, but they wouldn't sell it to her.
So she put a spell on it and told them that it would give bloody milk. The next morning when they milked her, the milk was bloody, like she said it was going to be. They was going to sell her then, but then she said she didn't want her.
But she took the spell off, and the very next morning she gave good milk. Everyone knew she was a witch then, because she was just showing her powers.
They said that when she was dying, she said, "I'm bound for hell."
I'm never looking at my morning glass of milk the same way again.
And when it came to catching a witch, Hoosiers had some creative methods. Our final story tonight shows one of the cleverest ways they tried to make a witch reveal herself.
Now, this legend was collected in 1968 in Jasper, Indiana.
This one is called Boiling Water Forces Witch to Reveal Herself.
I will try to put together a few incidences as they were told to me by victims and also witnesses of witchcraft as it was practiced in this area in the later 1800s and early 1900s. The earliest of which I have any knowledge happened in the late 19th century, and the victim was well known by my parents.
When this person was a young girl, she seemed to be sickly all of the time and was feeling weaker and weaker and seemed to be near the point of death. Although the doctors could find nothing seriously wrong with her, till one day a tramp, or hobo as they were known, who was also an umbrella mender, came to the home of this girl who lived on the farm.
And how he found out about her condition, I don't really know. But he probably could tell by her parents. They were downhearted and sad. And evidently, he told them that someone had cast a spell on them. And this hobo told them if he was further along in witchcraft than the person who has cast a spell, he could produce whoever it was that was causing the spell.
He told them that if they would do exactly what he told them to do, he could bring the person around who was causing it. So they decided to go along with it.
They were told to fill a kettle and water and build a fire under it. And when this water would come to a boil, the responsible person would appear. So they got busy, they filled the kettle with water and started a fire under it.
It so happened that when the water started to boil, this neighbor woman came screaming across the field and really screamed. So this hobo told her that if she wouldn't take the spell off, she'd have to keep on suffering, so she agreed.
And the woman, this young woman, incidentally lived to be a ripe old age, enjoyed a long married life, and raised a large family.
And just like that, another chapter of Hoosier witch lore comes to life.
It's amazing to think that these stories traveled from farm to farm, warning people and keeping the legends alive.
It really is.
And we hope you enjoyed tonight's tales.
Keep your doors locked.
And your cats close.
Do you happen to know about a Hoosier witch legend? Are you familiar with any of the legends we read tonight from Ronald Baker's Hoosier Folk Legends book? We would love to hear about it. Please send us an email to HoosierMythsAndLegends@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. We may use it in a later episode. In the email, let us know if you wish to remain anonymous.
To see our source material, please visit our website, HoosierMythsAndLegends.com. Hoosier Myths and Legends is a Quigley Productions podcast.
Our theme song was written and recorded by Wet Blanket. The song title is Taxidermy Race Car.
As always, stay spooky.